Hello, Roger12 here, and today we're going to be checking out a book. Yes. Now, before we actually check out this book, I'm going to ask you a question. Who remembers the cartoon The Oblongs? It was basically a situation comedy animated type thing, and it was about this family of mainly birth defected people, like Bob, who has no arms or legs. Milo seems to have a lot of addictions and stuff. And Beth has a thing on her head. I don't remember what it's called now. And Biff and Chip, they're basically Siamese twins, and then basically they live in the valley, and basically there's pretty much all intoxicated because everyone seems to be deformed and stuff. And also the hill, which is basically the higher parts, because and then in the show everyone is jealous. Everyone in the valley is jealous of the hill because they seem to be cleaner areas, but nobody in the hill likes the people in the valley because they think they're just plebeians or something. Anyway, that's not important. But why I mention about a book review and why did I mention the oblongs? Because there was a character in the show called Creepy Susie, and she is adorable, and she's probably she's one of my favorite characters in the series, as you could probably imagine. And why do I mention her? Because Oblongs was based on a book, well, loosely based, had characters based from the book anyway, a few of them, and that book is indeed Creepy Susie and 13 Other Tragic Tales for Troubled Children by Angus Oblong, or just Creepy Susie if you don't have the time or the effort to say the full title. Yes, Creepy Susie. Here's a picture of Creepy Susie on it. And there's a spine, and it's blue. Here's the back, and we have a few of the titles of the stories, and we have Helga there. She's basically the fat one, who she would pretty much look like a toad, and and everyone just called her fat and ugly. And she had a lot of butts, I remember. Also her boobs were like drooping down a little. Anyway, your mother never told you these stories. She didn't want to scare you, but Angus Oblong is not your mother. So yeah, this is basically. Here's one of these are characters from the one of the stories. Selected by the Book of the Month Club and the Quality Paperback Book Club. Here we have the publisher Valentine, who I believe published also a bunch of the Garfield books in America. That's pretty cool. $16.95 in the US and $25.50 in Canada. But thank God I didn't pay that much for this book, because I only paid about €1 or €2 for it, maybe a bit more with shipping. But anyway, let's take a look inside the book. I hope don't strike you for opening books and stuff, because yeah, this book belongs to, and basically that's where you would write down who owns the book. But considering this is a collector's item for me, I wouldn't write down anything in this, because that's just, if I write down my name in there, that's just going to ruin the collector. That's just going to ruin the value in it. Creepy Susie and 30 on Troubled Shape. Yeah, this is basically the black and white version of the cover, pretty much. The book is actually the people. There's a directory, there's a bunch of stories. It's pretty cool, because there's some dark stories. There's a few stories that has characters that eventually ended up in the Oblongs, and some of them that never appeared in the Oblongs at all. So let's just get started on that. There's the Debbies, and basically this is the story. Oh, there's the title. Oh yeah, and each story has a title card behind, because it's cool. Here's one. There's the story about the Helga, the aforementioned fat of the treehouse gang. I never actually mentioned them. And the Debbies, they lived in the hill, and basically this is about the story where Helga, she basically jealous of the Debbies, and she wanted to be part of the Debbies, so she basically disguised them. But then she wanted to exact revenge on the Debbies because of how. I should probably apologize. I remember actually in America, no, not in America, in Amazon, this was listed as a children's book, but bear in mind and be careful. It may be listed for troubled children, but this isn't actually a book for children, because there are a bunch of parts where there's a bunch of violent parts. There's bad language. There's a bunch of sex references even. Basically, it's got a lot. It's got everything basically, except for drugs. Maybe I don't know. I don't remember. Basically, here they are. They're basically here's Helga, and she's just looking at the Debbys as if, what are they doing? Why are they just? Oh, is she playing with a Viewmaster? Yeah. What could she possibly be looking at? And basically, and then she snipped off their annoying little heads, and then the story ending just she eats the pizza crust. That's a good story. I don't want to spoil all the story. I know I'm not. I didn't want to spoil the story for myself, so I didn't download the ebook of this. So, damn that ass. Stupid Betsy. She's basically a story about how a Betsy who was basically an idiot. She basically did stupid stuff, and then the vampire came, and then she became a vampire, and then she died. She bit everything, and then she lied down, and then she became ashes. But her mother didn't care, because she's the worst mother ever. But that's a good ending. Yeah, there are a bunch of them that people died, but some of them actually don't die. None of them die, but it's just stupid. There's a boy. His name's Walt. His name's Waldo. He's from Nantucket. That's in America. I have no idea where in America, but whatever. He has a dog with no legs and no tail. And then he made a shit that basically looks just like him. But then he wanted to show his shit to his mom, but she was drunk, and then she basically hit him with a ham. If it was a frozen meat, that's very dangerous, actually. and then she, hopefully she didn't, and then she suffocated Bean in a drawer. Maybe she stepped on the shit, and no doubt, making her shoe dirty in the process. And then she threw up. What an ending! That's probably the best ending in literature. Little Scooter. And this is the story of Little Scooter. Basically, people always keep throwing crap at his head because they hate him or something. And then he got diagnosed with a loose brain. And then he has to sleep. He has to be put to rest, or euthanized. No, yeah, euthanized. If you don't. In the end, clunk. Happy, Sammy. Here's her face. It's very happy. Little Sammy was a happy boy. Too damn happy. He smiled at everything. He smiled at gum. He smiled at big butts. He smiled at gays. He smiled at babies with 4 legs. What? And bunnies and everything. Basically, he even smiled at Neverending Story 3 and Teen Titans Go and anything that people hate or something. So he basically just he got electroshock therapy. And thank God he grew up to be normal. With a Debbie, I might add. I think he's just skeptical. He's talking about football, but she's talking about hearts. And he can't think about football, and all he wants to talk about is football. Because, frankly, hearts don't interest him whatsoever. Milo's disorder, and this is another story that features a character from the show. This one is, here's Milo. He looks a lot different as you can probably tell, he looks a lot different from the show, but there's a bunch of similarities from him, though. He has the one eye that's closed. Well, this one's fully closed. The other one was only just was barely open. He has his nose shirt, and that's it. He looks smaller, and he's younger, possibly, and maybe still voiced by Pajama Sam. Milo saw things differently. That looks this is the deformed version, but it almost looks like Pickles a little. If obviously it's very deformed, but it's very, very deformed. He thought there was a monster in the toy watching his butt, and basically he thought that, and then stuff smiled at him when he turned around, and fish flew out of his brain, and stuff went under his bed and stuff. He was cured with electroshock therapy, and thank God he grew up to be normal with another Debbie, and he's smiling this time with and he's actually happy this time with the Debbie Spanner. He's talking about wrenches. And she's talking about flowers. You know, I just love how this ending's literally identical to the one of Happy Sammy. Electroshock therapy. He grew up to be normal. Electroshock therapy. He grew up to be normal. I love how they just, what a cop out. What a cop out, Angus Oblong. Anyway. Next story. Creepy Susie. This is the story. This is the story that the name of the book is named after. It's the title story, I guess. Out of the 14 stories that are on here. Hello. I should probably... There was something a little creepy about Susie. Perhaps it was her collection of dead rats and chickens. Or maybe it was she never smiled, unless she was holding something slimy. The rest of Susie's family was perfectly normal, except for her father, who was a midget albino cross-dresser. Anyway, there's something interesting about this, actually. Her family here is different from her family that was originally going to be on the show, but considering how the ratings were, I mean, the show is great, but the ratings were doing very poorly. So there were going to be ideas for Susie's family that looked much more like Susie than these, and there wouldn't be an albino midget crossdresser at all. Yeah, it's true. Would be interesting if we actually got to see that family, but alas, unless the series gets rebooted, we may never see that. I would love to see a reboot though. That would be interesting. Anyway, Susie basically a boy falls in love with Susie, but she was too shy to actually do something. And even when she thought of him, and even when she thought of Eric Twinklebutt, her vagina tingled every time basically. I wish I never mentioned that. Like the second time this week, and I already mentioned stuff about vaginas. Yeah, basically her JJ tingled when she thought of it. Also, hell is this? Is it just a random? She read one of those romance novels, but then she threw up. Was it Twilight? Actually, well, probably wasn't actually because this came out before Twilight. But I wouldn't blame her if it was actually Twilight, because frankly, or maybe it was 50 Shades of Grey. That one's even worse. She went to see her great grandmother Ruby, but she was dead, and basically just talked. Well, there was this boy, and I heard this boy who is in love with me, but I don't think I'm able to talk. I'm too shy to talk to him. So why don't you give me some advice? No, you're dead. Why did I waste my time talking to you, mother? You cruel bastard. Anyway, yeah, but the great matter movie was no help at all, because she'd been dead for a long time. So she decided to take care of the problem. She basically scooped up Eric's brain, and she's smiling in the most creepy fashion. Well, and that's why she was never that creepy in the cartoon, because frankly, if she did that, then it would be really, really disturbing, actually. More disturbing than Family Guy. Actually, not quite, but... Emily Amputee. This one's brilliant, because it's only 2 pages. It's just a leaf. Emily went to her doctor for an annual checkup. Some paperwork got mixed up, and the amputee one of her legs. The end. Great, good story. Cool story, bro. Narcoleptic Scottie. This one's another character from the... This one's based on another character from the... This one basically on the... character that basically ended up in the cartoon. Even though in this story he's not owned by Milo. He's owned by somebody else, but he looks literally the same. Little Scottie was born. Actually, no, wait, there was drugs in that. Why did I not mention anything? He was short. He dreamt he was tall, and he suddenly told me he was a human dog. He looks a bit like Snowy from Tintin here, a little. Anyway, and he hated being treated like a dog because, frankly, make him do a trick first. Make him do the trick. Fuck you. I'm just like this. Begging for food was downright undignified. Because he kept looking at the table, and there's nothing on the table. He's just expecting a fox to jump at him. And hardly worth it. That's a very tiny fox. Scottie enjoyed sleeping and dreaming. Scottie Tenorman. He dreamt and dreamt of being Godzilla. It looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright laws, it's not. He became narcoleptic and basically took a lot of crack. He thought they were dead, and then he got buried. A lot of these stories involve people dying or getting buried alive. I don't know. Sibling rivalry. Tommy and Patty were brothers and sisters. There we go. And this looks a lot like Yvette, who was basically a one-off character from the cartoon, but she was from the pilot. A little, and she's a very slow-focusing Yvette. She put a poo and booger sandwich in Patty's lunch pail, and he put basically to do a lot of terrible things to each other until eventually she cooked the cat. Which no matter what happened later. Why didn't Pierre do anything about that anyway? And then she tried to put a rake through Tommy's skull. And Patty was an only child. Her parents were sad, but she didn't give a shit. Rosie's crazy mother, basically. She looks a little bit like Pickles, a little, but not exactly. Rosie's mother was a crazy woman. I hope this isn't good. I hope this isn't enough to get censored because I worry. I hope this is enough to get age restricted. She shaved the cats, and basically she did a lot of crazy stuff. Put a tattoo, actually get a tattoo of herself on the back, including her face, her boobs, and stuff. That's just what. And also her mother shoved her own daughter in the oven. No doubt trying to cook her. She feared she would grow up to be just like her mother. The revelation will be shocking. And she did! The end. She's just wearing one shoe. Jenny, and Babette. The Siamese quadruplets. This is these people, by the way. I just couldn't remember what they were called. Even though 3 of these characters are the same name. Basically, they were like Siamese twins, except they're multiplied by 2. They wouldn't play them because they looked weird. But then they just started to, even people that looked weird just look at them and think, oh hey, this looks weird. Even Timmy and Jimmy would be. Yeah, their father feared them, which is just bad parenting. A lot of these stories have a lot of bad parenting in them, actually. A mother doesn't care if their daughter turns to ash. They have a mother that shoved her own daughter in the oven, and then they ran away. Good for them. They got a job at age 7. No, 6. They got a car. Somehow managed to pass the driving test. Got married to a pervert. Does he join Is the pervert part of Nambla? Actually, no, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't be. That would be it's man and boy. That would be man and boy. But they're clearly marrying girls. So yeah, their 7th birthday. They've never been happier. They're now spies, and now they decide how they hated their parents. So you know what happens. Yep, they cooked them, ate them. What a yummy little feast, innit? Good. Dick and Muffy. This is a good one because all this whole story is basically just. This has no writing or anything. This is just pictures, but these pictures tell a lot. Well, flying. This is Dick and this is Muffy. Dick's a normal name and so is Muffy actually, but as you will find out, there's something important about them. Trains in a tunnel. Put hot dog bun, and then you put the hot dog inside. See where this is going yet? She's plugging in. She has a socket, and then Dick has the thing. She's trying to put the ring inside the hole. No, inside the stick. You see where this is going? You see where this is going? This is You see these kind of this is all, in case you couldn't figure out, this is basically sexual. These are all sex references. Yeah, basically, yeah. Dick obviously is the penis. Muffy is a muff, which basically means vagina. I've been mentioning a lot about vaginas lately, actually. Yeah, basically, sexual intercourse, more intercourse. Yeah, more intercourse. And now we got to BDSM, I guess. Yeah, basically trying to choke. Basically, this is the sub. This is the sub, and this is the dom. And you guess what has happened? She's choking a chicken, and then Dick's like, "Oh, that's some nice choking chicken action." Yeah, you know this has happened. You know this is like, yeah, more intercourse. You know, but two oranges, one banana. Yes. Also, the son's confused. Like, what the hell is going on down there? Oh, open the bottle and the orgasm. And now Muffy is just all alone for some reason. What a story. Mary had a little chainsaw. This is the final story. Now we gotta read this in, and because this is in poem like form, we might as well read it like that. Mary had a little chainsaw. Its teeth were sharp as steel. Everywhere that Mary went, the saw was sure to go. That doesn't rhyme. Fuck it. Palindrome. She brought it to her. She brought it with her to school one day, which apparently was against the rules. It made the children laugh at play to see a chainsaw at school. And the next page. Mary grew up to be one of those big bugger women tattoos. The end. It just breaks the poetic flow. Well, whatever. And then we have just a little list of what Angus Oblong is. He lives in San Francisco. And basically, yeah. He apparently writes children's stuff. He has a website, and it's still open. As far as from last time I checked, anyway. We have a bunch of people there. We have the Angus Oblong style people. There's Helga eating chicken, and there's what I thought was Milo as Creepy Susie, but apparently that is Creepy Susie, and she has a wig. But as far as as far as I can tell, not this book isn't canon to the stories because, like I said, Creepy Susie's family was going to be much different from the one in the book, and as well, Milo looks different from the one in the book, and he never actually saw stuff like that in the cartoon. And here we are. At the final page, we have Angus Oblong himself, I'm assuming. You have a white cap. I have no idea what that is. I thought it was New York Yankees, but then it's a different logo. And that's it. And I just read the whole book. I hope I don't get striked for it. Yeah, that's Creepy Susie and 13 Other Tragic Tales for Troubled Children. What do I think of it? Well, it's a pretty cool story. It's a pretty cool book because it's got a good bunch of stories. They're clever and they're all pretty clever stories. They're good. They're pretty good time wasters because you get to read book stories, and they're like children's stories, but not quite. They're targeted towards adults, but yeah, they're all clever. Plus, it's good for historical reasons as well, because anyone who's a fan of the Oblongs, especially, needs to own this book because this is historically important. I mean, I don't own the Oblong series, but I have seen the series, and it's a great series. But this is important for historical reasons because this is where it all began, pretty much, for Milo and Creepy Susie and Helga and everyone else. Well, not everyone else, but those people at least. Anyway, there's at least 4 of the characters in it came from the book. Or no, 5, because Helga. No, not Helga. Debbie is as well. We have not all the characters were in this. I mean, but it's still a good book to read. It's a good book. It's a good time to. It's a good time waster if you like reading these kind of books. Yeah, and it's pretty cheap, or at least how much I paid for it. I mean, I paid a good bunch of. I paid like at least 3 or so for the book. Like I said, with including shipping, it came from America. Thank God books are region free because I'd be damned if it wasn't. But yeah, this is a good book. Recommended for fans of the Oblongs and fans of children's books that aren't children's books, I guess. I don't know what the proper term for that is. Yeah, but it's a good story, and it's got nice illustrations, nice little styles. Oh, yeah, One unfortunate thing is that this page is kind of creased, which is I don't blame the book for it. It's for my previous owner. I'm just gonna make sure that doesn't get torn because that's a collector's item. I consider it a collector's item, and if anything happens to it, that's gonna be a big problem. But yeah, this is a great book, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, this is World Day 2012 and Creepy Susie signing out.